Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining and good afternoon to all. So this webinar is basically for those who are new to Sangfor and also who have already been working on Sangfor to refresh their knowledge on what Sangfor HCI has and can do, especially for those customers also who are looking for an alternative of VMware. Yeah. So I'm going to basically cover on what we have as an alternative to VMware and what features and benefits and capabilities Sangfor carries for these customers and also for new customers, right? So the topic is basically why enterprises are moving away from traditional virtualization, what are the challenges that they face, and what they are looking for in the new infrastructure or the latest technologies that they expect a platform should have. Again, so to start with, I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Gazali Aga. I'm the pre-sales manager within Sangfor, and I'm based out of UAE. And I handle mainly our cloud portfolio, which is our uh, HCI, VDI, hypervisor, and storage. And this webinar is mainly on the Sangfor HCI, right? So before I start, I will just quickly give an intro on Sangfor as a vendor where we stand as of now. One second. So what is it that you will take from this webinar? That is to understand why you should work with Sangfor. What is it that how where we stand as of now in the market and how we have been helping our customers and partners. Introduction to Sangfor HCI, of course, and why Sangfor is an ideal VMware alternative option, right? So before we start, let's take a look at where Sangfor stands as of now in the market. Sangfor was founded in 2000, and since then it's been actually 26 years that we are there in the market. Uh, we have nearly 10,000 employees globally, and we are growing. We have 70 plus branches where we are there. We are spread across the globe. In APAC region, we are among the top three vendors when it comes to security and cloud. We are there in the American region, European region, Africa, in the Middle East. In In the European region, Italy is the regional headquarters where the European region reports to. In the Middle East, we started back in 2017 from UAE. You can say like end of 2017. And but due to COVID times, things had slowed down a bit. And now, you know, since last 3 to 4 years, we are very much active and we already have good references here in the UAE, and we are spread across the Middle East as well. We are there in Oman, we are there in Saudi Arabia has a separate team altogether. Egypt, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain as well. So, and then when it comes to support, we have 24 by 7 technical support available. Our support center is available in all the major regions globally. We call it as follow the sun support. For UAE customers and the Middle East customers, our support center is in UAE and in Egypt as well. We have two divisions. One second, let me bring my pointer. Okay. All right. So we have two divisions in security. We have our firewall, we have our web access gateway, also known as internet access gateway, endpoint protection, NDR and XDR. And we also have MDR services, and the data center for MDR is here in the UAE itself. In the cloud division, we have our HCI, our hypervisor as well. So for those customers who are looking to move only from hypervisor to hypervisor or are looking only for hypervisor, we have our hypervisor known as ASV. And then we have our VDI and enterprise storage as well. And then we have our sister concern known as Sundry, which focuses mainly on wireless and switching solution. In switches, we have 1G, 10G, 40 gig, 100 gig, depends on the requirement. And give me a second. The slide seems to be stuck. Yeah. Okay. So, and then we have a good cooperation with US-based entities as well, and good recognition from them also. So if you look at, let's say, Intel, AMD, AV-Test, SAP, Veeam, Veritas, they are our OEM partners, and Virus Total, Cyber Ratings, and AV-Test are the entities from USA where they basically test and certify the product, and they have done the test on Sangfor solutions also, and we have the highest rating from them. Yeah. We are recognized in the Gartner also. We are recognized in Gartner for all of our solutions from VDI to HCI to MDR to our firewall. All of these platforms are recognized in Gartner as well. We are also recognized in the Forrester's Wave. In Forrester's Wave, we are among the strong performers, and we are growing. So globally, we have more than 100,000 customers from the global Fortune 500 to healthcare, government, education, banking, and finance. So you name the vertical, we have the reference in the vertical, right? So for those customers and for partners who are looking for certain use cases, you can let us know and we can share you that specific use case as well. Now, so let me jump now to the introduction of Sangfor. Also, before I start with the HCI part, if you have any questions, you can drop that question in the Q&A section, where once I finish my session, I will try to answer as many questions as I can. This is the best time that you can utilize. If you have any questions, please use this time to clarify that and to ask me, and I will be more than happy to assist and to answer the questions that you might have. All right. So with Sangfor HCI, hyper-converged infrastructure, you can build a complete software-defined data center where whether you have a single branch or multiple branches, it doesn't matter. All of these branches can be connected using our unified management platform known as SCP, known as Sangfor Cloud Platform. In short, it's called as SCP. So it is like a single window that is giving you the visibility into all of the sites and all the features and capabilities that we have, right? And but SCP is not mandatory if you have a single cluster. We have the cluster management service running in every node when you install the hypervisor or HCI. You just have to give a virtual IP address and add all the nodes to that virtual IP address, and it will form a cluster. As simple as that. And you can get all the features from HA to all the features that you would require a platform like HCI or hypervisor to have. SCP is only mandatory if you have more than one site to manage multiple sites. You still have an option, even if you have a single site, you have the option to have SCP to manage even single site, but it is not mandatory. And SCP is free of cost. You don't pay for SCP, it's a free management plans, right? And other than that, we have our native backup, which is for free. It gives you 1 hour RPO, and along with our CDP as well, which is our advanced backup, the continuous data protection. Our free backup will give you 1 hour RPO. Our licensed backup will give real-time backup or zero RPO, right? And then along with that, we have our native DR orchestrator also, where it is managed through our SCP itself. It can give you near zero RPO with active passive DR site, primary and secondary, or primary and DR site, right? Now, so tier one, what it does is you can go with any hardware, x86 architecture hardware, and you can build These are the three components. Compute virtualization is ASV, storage virtualization is ASAN, networking virtualization is ANET. So these are the three main components that make up Sangfor HCI. This will be built on top of the physical nodes or the physical hardware. And this is you have a single ISO file that will install all of these major components. And all the other features, you will just have to add the licenses to enable that feature. So these are the three components that will be installed at a single installation in all of the hardware. It's a bare metal, basically, it's a bare metal software which will be installed. And once you install it, it is very simple to deploy. You can get a complete unified, management platform for compute storage and networking. And in addition to that, we have an add-on component known as security as well, which is known as ASEC. If added as part of the HCI, it will give you a complete secured hyper-converged infrastructure, right? So this is if you want to build everything on-prem, where you want to manage everything, where you are in control. We have Tier 2 cloud architecture as well. What I mean by that is the SCP free version is only to manage your multiple sites and all the features and capabilities. We have an enterprise edition of SCP, which will turn your underlying hardware into a public cloud. Yeah, where you will get multi-tenancy, billing and metering, cost governance, all of that. So you can turn your infrastructure into a cloud and you can host services to your customers. Or let's say if there's an organization which has multiple entities in that, you can have the group infrastructure, group IT, giving out hosting services to the other entities. It will give them billing and metering as well, where you can set your charges based on the resources usage. Based on the business model, you can set your resources charges, and the billing can happen maybe depending again on your business design, weekly, monthly, yearly, however you want it, right? So for those who are aware of the traditional architecture and let's say HCI, who are willing to work on HCI, let's give a quick comparison and what are the challenges that customers face when it comes to a three-tier architecture. Now, on the left side, what you see is a three-tier architecture, which basically has multiple layers. At the bottom is the storage, where the storage can be any storage. It can be a SAN storage from Dell, from Pure Storage, NetApp, HP, connected to the host via fiber channel switch. It can be connected from a fiber channel switch. Let me just bring my pointer again. All right. So this is basically the storage, the fiber channel switch that you would have. And then these are your host. On top of the host, you will have your hypervisor running. The hypervisor can be anything. It can be from VMware, it can be from Hyper-V, it can even be from Sangfor, let's say only hypervisor, right? Or on top, when you build the VMs will be stored on top of this storage, right? So this is one, two, and this is the third layer. So we call this as three-tier architecture, where the entire data, entire VM information and data will be stored on the storages, correct? So what are the challenges that customer face here? So of course, you need to have the expertise on the storage. You need to have the expertise on the storage switches, and then you need to have the expertise on the hypervisor layer as well. So imagine a time when you want to, let's say, do a tech refresh or you want to do an upgrade. There are certain points you need to keep in mind, like for example, you have to ensure that you take a downtime. You need to do the activities after office hours or in the weekends. You have to ensure that all the vendor support is available in case if there is any issue, and you do the activity of the upgrade in the weekends. Let's say if there is an issue, if an issue occurs, the activity gets prolonged and the services till that time could be down as well. So these are some of the challenges that new customer face when it comes to three-tier architecture, right? So these are just few of the challenges that I could name right now. But what does Sangfor HCI can help you with? It helps you basically consolidate all of these components, all the three layers into a single platform, which is hyper-converged infrastructure. So let's say the compute, the storage, and networking can be built into a single platform with minimum Sangfor HCI nodes, which can be two. Within two nodes, you can have a complete infrastructure running with storage, networking, and your compute virtualization as well. And not only that, it will also help you reduce your data center footprints. It will also help you reduce your data center footprints and space as well, where at the end, it will help you save a lot of cost. You can basically start with as low as two nodes in a single cluster, and you can expand up to 64 nodes as well. So let's say you can let's say you start now with two nodes, and as you grow, you can add more nodes, and you don't have to go through the downtime as such. As long as you follow the best practices, you can just add the node in the network, go to Sangfor GUI. It will help you discover the new node, and you can just say add the node to the cluster. And one of our HCI components known as ASAN will help you redistribute the data across the cluster. I will talk about ASAN in the coming slides. So without taking any downtime, as long as you follow the best practices, you can do the upgrade, you can do the expansion for compute and for storage without having a downtime, right? Uh, Again, you can start with two nodes in the cluster and you can expand up to 64 nodes, right? Now, we support all the workloads out there from databases to SAP HANA, big data and analytics, uh, AI, containerized environment, OT applications. We also support SCADA, PIS, MIS applications. We have customers who are already running OT applications with more than 100 clusters as well. And for those who want to, have a containerized environment in a single cluster, we have our native Sangfor Kubernetes engine, which will help you build a parallel containerized environment, yeah, in the same cluster. If you want to, let's say, go microservices, or you want to go infrastructure as code, this will help you with that. We are hardware agnostic, though we have our own hardware, but we also support all the third-party hardwares out there from HP, Dell, Lenovo, Supermicro, Cisco. You can go with compute-heavy nodes, you can go with all-flash nodes, you can go with hybrid model, you can go with storage-heavy nodes, depending on your requirement, right? And we also have a partnership, OEM partnership with NVIDIA. So if you want to build an AI environment, AI platform, you can leverage Sangfor to build these kind of platforms as well, right? So ASV is basically our hypervisor, where it has all the major features that you would require a hypervisor to have. Like, for example, to name few, VM level HA, DRS, hot add, hot migration, thin provisioning, thick provisioning, dynamic drive provisioning, distributed switch by default. All right. So, sorry, actually, the slides are getting stuck for some reason. I hope you can see my slides moving. Okay. So, moving forward. So, ASV is one of the components of Sangfor HCI as well. And if we look at DRS, we have a DRS 2.0. Even VMware has DRS 2.0, but the major difference that we do is we have our native AI engine, which will study the VM's resource utilization for the previous days, and it will predict the utilization of the coming days. So based on that, it will help you without having any manual intervention. It will do the management of the VM's resource utilization automatically, and it will predict the utilization and make up the space in the cluster for that VM to use those resources. It works hand in hand with our hot add feature, which will basically, increase the VM's resources as required for its CPU and RAM. You have the option to even disable that policy for certain VMs where you don't require that automation when it comes to expansion of the resources. So it will study the VM's resources, and if required, it will also add more CPU and RAM automatically, ensuring that your applications get the required performance and IOPS. All right. Now, this is how the management dashboard looks like for Sangfor HCI and Sangfor ASV, which is our hypervisor. It will show you the total number of VMs you have in the cluster, total number of nodes. You can also integrate with your vCenter, and you can do a complete lifecycle management of your VMware environment from Sangfor GUI. So it will show you if you have any VMware vCenter added within Sangfor. And then the CPU utilization and CPU allocation, memory allocation, memory utilization, all of that will be seen here. Yeah. Now ASAN. ASAN is again, so we have three components, part of HCI, ASV, ASAN, and ANET. So ASAN is again one of the components of our HCI, and it has a distributed and a scale out architecture where it will help you do the expansion very easily. You do not have to go through any downtime as such, again, as long as you follow the best practices. So you can start as low as 2 nodes in a single cluster, and ASAN will help you upgrade or expand the clusters. And it will do the redistribution of data across the cluster without, again, any manual intervention. Yeah. What it does is, so again, it HCI does not follow any RAID concept or erasure coding as such. It has something called as multi-copy mechanism, where every time an application does a write, it will ensure that it has multiple copies in the cluster. By default, Sangfor has 2 copies in the cluster, where let's say this application does a write, the original copy, where we also follow data locality, which means that let's say this is the VM doing a write. It will write the data on node 1 as, let's say, ABC. The replication of that will happen here on the remaining nodes. AB will be here, C will be here, right? So at a given point of time, you will always have 2 data copies in the cluster. If this node fails for any reason, this VM will be moved here immediately, and it will start reading and writing on this node. So it will always ensure that data locality is maintained, and in a single cluster, 2 copies are maintained. If you want to enable 3 copies, you can quickly enable as per VM wise. At VM level, you can enable RF3, which is replication factor 3, which means 3 copies in a single cluster, right? You can do that as well. When it comes to storage, the storage performance, ASAN plays a major role there. We have data locality, intelligent reads and writes, smart striping, and optimal data placement is part of our intelligent reads and write, where it ensures that it does not write on the bad sectors. It writes on sequential basis. 4K writing, where all collectively ensures that you get the required IOPS and required performance. Now, one more thing to add here is that every drive, so though we support all the hardwares, but when it comes to drive, every drive has a functionality called as smart, where the software has to be the above software of any hypervisor or HCI has to be smart, intelligent enough to leverage that smart functionality of the drive or of the disk. And Sangfor software leverages the smart functionality to give you features like avoiding writing on the bad sectors, informing you of the drive failures 7 days prior, so you can have enough time to replace the drive. So all of these features can be utilized with the smart functionality of the disks, right? And Sangfor can utilize that. Now, ANET is part of Sangfor HCI. Again, it is like NSX for those who understand VMware. I'm doing the comparison so you can understand what are the components in comparison to VMware. So ANET is like NSX. Uh, it gives you not only software-defined networking or NFV functionalities. NFV is Network Functions Virtualization, which will help you virtualize all the major components on top of hypervisor. So other than SDN and NFV, it gives you a feature called as what you draw is what you get, which will give you two major things. One is ease of configuration and ease of troubleshooting. Ease of configuration means you can drag and drop the components like your VLAN, your vSwitch, your router, your firewall, your VM, link it to each other and do the configuration, right? And it will also show you how the topology looks like. Tomorrow, if there is any issue, you can come down to this dashboard. It will show you which component is causing the issue, right? So two things, ease of configuration and ease of troubleshooting. And for those who are new to Sangfor, let me also add here that as Sangfor was founded as a security vendor, we always ensure that all of our cloud products are also equipped with the security capabilities and security features that will ensure that your infrastructure is secured. So let's say, for example, for our WAF, to protect our WAF, we have a built-in WAF into our kernel. Our management is an HTML5 web-based management, and such kind of platforms, such kind of managements are prone to attacks, right? So we help protect through our built-in WAF of of our hypervisor. If I give a comparison for those who understand the VMware language, in vCenter is a management of VMware environment. That is also an HTML5 web-based management. Uh, that was, attacked multiple times previous year and before that. So to protect from such kind of attacks, we have our built-in WAF to protect Sangforce hypervisor and Sangforce management. Now, VM level, we have data at rest encryption also, where it utilizes our native KMS server for key management, and it will protect data at rest, and you can enable the encryption at VM level. With our distributed firewall, what is a distributed firewall? It is our micro-segmentation built into our platform. You do not have to invest in additional licenses. Micro-segmentation is part of Sangforce platform to protect your east-west traffic. For those who are new to micro-segmentation, what it does is basically it will ensure that if you have VMs within the same VLAN, same subnet, you can say that VM1 should not speak to VM2 on port 3389, or if you have a web server, you can say all traffic, whether from WAN or from LAN, should be restricted, should be blocked to my web server, allow only port 443 or web traffic. Yeah. So customers invest heavily on micro-segmentation as well. Though they might be having a perimeter firewall, they will be having WAF, they will be having multiple security products, but still they invest heavily on micro-segmentation. But in Sang4, you can get that as part of the platform. No need to invest in that licenses. That is part of Sangforce hypervisor only, or the entire HCI. Now, and those customers who want to achieve a secured hyperconverged infrastructure, we have an add-on component known as ASEC. It basically, uh, you know, gives you a complete VM level protection, like vulnerability scanning, threat protection, ransomware recovery as well. So if I give you a comparison, you might be having endpoint protection where you license that based on number of endpoints or on number of VMs. Sangforce ASEC, you can license that based on number of sockets, and you can run any number of VMs on the top. Yeah. So if you have 6 nodes, with each node having 2 sockets, you will license only 6 of ASEC, and you can protect all the VMs you're having on the top, right? And this is also managed through our SCP itself. You do not need to have a separate management dashboard for this. And of course, you can integrate with our security products also, like our NDR, firewall, endpoint protection, and get more secured and HCI and better visibility into the security posture of the HCI. Talking of the backup, Sangfor has a built-in backup other than the native data protection, data availability, which ensures that your services are up and running all the time. Part of our multi-copy mechanism. You can use our native backup, which gives you 1 hour RPO and which is free of cost. You can connect any external storage, a NAS storage, a cloud storage, as long as it is S3 compatible. You can connect to Sangfor and you can push the backups based on your SLA requirement, like every hour, every day, every week, every month. File level restore, quick restore, periodic full backup. All of that you would require a backup to have. And some customers, what they do is, they are more used to, let's say, third-party backups like Veeam or Veritas, as we support that as well. They invest only for the required number of VMs. Let's say maybe 10 VMs for Veeam, but out of the 100 VMs, 90 VMs, they will do the backup with our native backup. Only for 10 VMs, they will invest in Veeam or Veritas or any third-party backup. This will help customers save a lot of cost also when it comes to backup, and have a unified platform even to manage backup through Sangfor, right? So this will give them 1 hour RPO. We have the advanced backup, also known as continuous data protection. The difference between the free version and the paid version. So our CDP backup is licensed per VM. So major difference between these two is the free will give you 1 hour RPO, the paid will give you 0 RPO, which means real-time backup. This is the only difference. All the features, the rest of the features are same that you would get between both, right? Now, uh, talking of DR, we have multiple types of DR. We have active passive DR. We have HDR as well. We have active stretched cluster also. I will talk about that in the coming slide. So first, I would like to talk about the HDR. So we have three types of DR: active passive, active, and heterogeneous DR. Now, what is heterogeneous DR, or in short, HDR? The source can be anything. It can be VMware, it can be Hyper-V, it can be physical servers, it can be cloud. You can have the DR built on Sangfor, and you can replicate the entire applications, the VMs from the source, which can be anything, to Sangfor as a DR. Yeah, that we call it as heterogeneous DR or HDR. Other than that, the active passive DR, the source can be Sangfor, the DR side can be Sangfor, and it will give you near zero RPO. Yeah, it will give you automated failover and failback based on scenarios. And this is licensed per VM. And this is managed through our SCP itself, which is our Sangfor cloud platform. It's an on-prem management appliance. So our ADR, the active passive DR is called as ADR. It will help you achieve active passive with near zero RPO. This is the DR monitoring, where on the left side, it will show you the VMs that you have in the source, and right side, it will show you what the DR replication VMs are, and it will show you the exact replication happening. If there is any issue, the VMs will go from green to orange to red. And on the right side bottom, it will show you what the issue is and what is the closest resolution based on your requirement. And based on your scenario, you can build this replication dashboard, and it will show you the errors or issues that is happening. So this is basically like a monitoring dashboard. Yeah. Talking of the active DR, so we support by native active stretch cluster also, provided that you have both the sites, site 1 and site 2, connected over a fiber channel or a dark fiber, where you get less than 5 millisecond of latency. You can go with this active stretch cluster. Uh, Customers go for this for majorly for two use cases. One is if you want both the sites to distribute the workloads. If you have 100 VMs based on resource utilization, it will distribute the VMs between both the sites. Second thing is you want both the sites to act as a DR to each other. That is when you will go with these are some major use cases that we have seen customers going for active stretch cluster. Right? There can be many other use cases also based on your requirement. You can achieve this active sites, right? So now let's take a look at why Sangfor is an ideal VMware alternative. Yeah. So before I move to the slides, one thing to add, even if you go to Gartner, you will hear Sangfor's name. You will see Sangfor's name as an alternative to VMware. Not only you, not only me, there are a lot of customers who were a lot comfortable with VMware, but time changes, the requirement changes, especially after the Broadcom acquisition, which everybody knows now. It's an old story. VMware structure, VMware licensing, VMware pricing has gone extremely high, right? And so they are looking for an alternative. If any customer looking for an alternative, Sangfor is the right option. Even Gartner and reports and study shows that Sangfor can be the right alternative as well. Now, based on customers' components or based on customer features that they use. Before we jump to the comparison as such and why Sangfor, let's take a look at a study, a survey that was done in an event that happens every year, which is called as Enterprise Summit for end users. Now, this event actually happens every year in the USA. Last one was done in 2024 in Florida, where there were, many end users, where a survey was done. 57% of them said that they are looking for an alternative of VMware. Yeah, so you can just imagine the number of customers, not only in that region, even in this region, there are customers who are looking for an alternative. 15% said that they have no choice but to pay. 14% said they are going through the negotiations still. But even if we, so overall, looking at this report, it shows that there are so many customers who are going through this pain, uh, you know, and they are looking for an alternative. For our partners who have joined with us in this webinar, please do reach out to your customers and help them out. Let us know, we can meet them and we can show them what Sangfor can help them with. And the transition is very, very simple. Yeah, from VMware to Sangfor. Now, what does Gartner say? Gartner says that especially for those customers who are on VMware hypervisor, which is a vSphere or ESXi, right? If you want to move to version 9, you are basically, you don't have any option but to pay for what you are not going to use. If I am a VMware hypervisor customer only, I wouldn't want to pay for an HCI, right? But I want to use only hypervisor, but I will still have to pay for the entire bundle, but I might be using only the hypervisor. The cost, of course, have gone really high, and more VMware partnership is getting terminated and they are exiting. So not only in that region, not only in other regions here in the Middle East, also in the UAE also, there are a lot of partners who have lost their partnership with VMware. And the good news for us, for Sangfor, is that these partners are partnering with Sangfor, and we are helping we are helping a lot of customers come out of these challenges. We have done a lot of migrations from VMware to Sangfor. Yeah. Now, let's take a look at a quick comparison of the VMware components and what Sangfor has as an alternative. For VMware area operation, we have our SkyOps, which is a cloud-based service. For SRM, which is their DR, we have our ADR. vCenter is their management. We have SCP, Sangfor Cloud Platform, which is our unified management. But for a single cluster, you do not require an SCP. You can manage the entire cluster with all the features and capabilities that we have through our native Sangforce cluster management service. Okay. Now, SCP is a free version for as long as you want to manage only, it is free. But if you want to convert your underlying infrastructure into a public cloud, then you can go with SCP enterprise feature. Yeah, you can get multi-tenancy, billing and metering, cost governance, all of the features that you would require to host your customers' workloads and services on your cloud. vSphere, we have ASV. Tanzu is their containerized platform. We have Sangfor Kubernetes Engine. vSAN, we have ASAN. NSX, if you look at the licensing model right now, if you have NSX as part of VCF, you don't get microsegmentation by default. You need to go, though you will get software-defined networking with NSX, but for microsegmentation, you have to go with the NSX plus firewall with ATP license as an add-on to achieve microsegmentation. We have by default in our platform microsegmentation. And for those customers who are currently on VMware it's HCI, they can transition from that to Sangfor HCI, right? Which is a combination of ASV, ASAN, and ANET. All right. Now, looking at the management, for those who have already worked on a platform like VMware or any other hypervisor, it will not take them much time to get familiar with Sangforce dashboard. It is very user-friendly and has a intuitive GUI. For those who are on VMware, who have experience with VMware, for them it is going to be very simple. And even for those who are new to hypervisor completely, it shouldn't take them much time to get familiar with Sangforce GUI, right? Our management is again built in by default. You don't have to invest in separate licenses for the management. Management is free, and you can have a complete homotopic substitution from VMware to Sangfor when we look at the platform or components. Hypervisor to hypervisor, HCI to HCI, cloud, private cloud to private cloud, which is our SCP enterprise. So you can have a complete same platform as you are or you might have right now. You can move to Sangfor with the same kind of platform. Yeah. Now let's take a look at how do we do the migration. We don't, especially when it comes to VMware, we don't use any tool, we don't use any agent as such to do the migration. We have a direct API integration with VMware, where you can go to Sangfor GUI, you will see a VMware vCenter tab. Enter your vCenter IP address, username, password. Once authenticated, the entire VMware hierarchy will be seen in Sangfor, along with the VMs that you have. You will just do right click and do the migration. Yeah. And this is how it looks like. You will just do right click and say migrate to Sangfor ASV or migrate to Sangfor HCI. And the VM will be a live migration. You will only require maybe 5 to 7 minutes of cutover downtime when it shuts down the VM in Sangfor and brings up the VM in, when it shuts down the VM in VMware and brings up the VM in Sangfor. Yeah. And then for other than VMware, if you have Hyper-V, if you have physical servers, if you have, let's say, workloads running in the cloud, we have a specialized tool called as Sangfor Cloud Migration Tool, or in short, SCMT, that will help you do the migration from P2V, V2V, cloud to on-prem, cloud to cloud, everything, right? And for those customers who are running their legacy applications on physical machines on server 2008, Windows Server 2008 or Windows Server 2003 or 2012, we support Windows from 2003 till the latest Windows as well. So we have helped customers come out of the single point of failure who are running their legacy applications on physical machines. We can help them migrate from physical to virtual, and we support 2003, 2008, 2012 as well. All right. So how is our licensing? Our licensing is basically based on single socket license, means socket-based license. So if you have 3 nodes, each node has 2 physical sockets. We license you only 6 sockets in total. So our licensing model is based on number of sockets, not on number of cores. Our edition, whether it is for hypervisor, whether it is for HCI, we have a single edition called as Enterprise that will give you all the features that your hypervisor requires, that your HCI requires. Whether it is small, medium, or large enterprises, everybody will get the same enterprise level features, right? So that is it from my side as of now. If you have any questions, please let me know in the Q&A section. So yeah, to answer few of your questions, our licensing again, yeah, it is based on number of sockets, and there is no such a limitation on that. You can have minimum 2 nodes, which means which can be 2 sockets, which can be 4 sockets also, up to 64 nodes in a single cluster. For hypervisor, yes, you can go with 1 socket also, depending on your requirement. So if you have only hypervisor requirement, you have a single socket in the server, yes, you can go with 1 license also. And yes, license subscription, yes, it is subscription based. We have 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years option based on your requirement. All right. So for migration, yes, as I was saying, we don't use the tool for VMware migration to Sangfor. We have direct API integration with which we will do the migration from VMware to Sangfor. So the process is basically uh, what happens is your VM running in VMware will be live. It will be a live migration. It will not disrupt the services. Backend, it will do the migration. It will sync the data completely with Sangfor VM. Automatically, the VM will be created in Sangfor with all the configuration that you require. You have the option of keeping the same config like vCPU, RAM, storage, all of that, or you have the option to change even the IP address, the MAC address as well, right? So if you want to keep the same information, you can keep the same info and config, and you can do the migration. It will be a live migration. It will sync the data. Once the data is synced with the new VM in Sangfor, it will notify you that the VM is the data of this VM has synced. Do you want to do the cutover? You can say yes, do the cutover now. Or if you want to do the automated cutover at the time of the migration, you can say that once the data is synced, do the cutover automatically. Automatically, it will shut down the VM in Sangfor and it will bring up the VM in. Sorry, again, it will shut down the VM in VMware and it will bring the VM up in Sangfor. If you have any more questions, please you can drop the questions in the Q&A section. Okay, for the DR part, yes, again, DR hardware can be used anything based on your requirement. Again, when I say based on your requirement, because we are flexible. Okay, if you want to build a complete HCI on the DR side, you can build HCI on the DR side. If you want to go with the 3-tier architecture, you can go with the 3-tier architecture on the DR side as well. So if you say that I already have, let's say, existing physical servers and I have a storage as well. Yes, you can go only with the licenses and you can build a complete DR site. Yeah. So based on scenarios, we can discuss what best suits you. If you feel you need to go with HCI, you can go with HCI. You want to go with three-tier architecture, you can go with three-tier architecture, even for the DR part. Minimum number of nodes for RF3. RF3 is basically a replication factor 3, which means in a single cluster, you can have 3 copies. So Sangfor can achieve 3 copies even with 3 nodes. You don't have to maintain 5 nodes. So other platforms out there, they require minimum 5 nodes to maintain 3 copies of data in the cluster. Sangfor HCI can achieve that even with 3 nodes. So which means that the investment for customers will go very minimum. Instead of investing in 5 nodes, you can invest only in 3 nodes and still achieve 3 copies. We do have live migration, correct? So that is the part of VM level HA, where the VM will be in HA mode. If anything happens to the node, or if any network goes down or something on that particular node, the VM will be immediately moved to the healthy node available in the cluster. And then again, DRS will play a role to manage the resource utilization and VM load balancing across the cluster in the available nodes. So I believe that is it for now. If you have any questions, or if you have anything, again, please drop it in the Q&A section. And if you feel that you want to reach out to me, or if you want to reach out to us anytime, you can reach out to the team. If you need to discuss, you have a question, you want us to come with you for a meeting with the customer, you can let us know. All right, then. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope this was informative. Uh, Thank you for your time. Again, if you have any questions, if you want to get in touch with us, please do let us know, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you, and take care.